The media interview. It looks easy, but there's a lot of work that goes into making sure everything runs smoothly. If you've received a request for a media interview about your research, that's great news. It means that your work has a chance to reach new audiences. However, there are a few things to know before stepping in front of the camera and sharing your knowledge with the world. This video series will guide you through everything you need to know on how to successfully interview with the media. Our first video will start with the basics, such as what a media interview is, as well as how to prepare for an interview, what to do during the interview, and post-interview tips. Let's get started. First, let's start with what a media interview is. A media interview is a choreographed exchange of information. What can media interviews help achieve? They can help with selling, clarifying, advocating, and preserving and protecting something. So now that we have a general idea of what a media interview is, let's get into the 3 stages of an interview. So, you've received a media request. Great! Now you should prepare for the interview. This means making sure you understand the topic of the interview, as well as what the interview will cover. Don't be afraid to ask for an interview brief that includes talking points that the journalist will use. Also make sure you think about and identify your own talking points that you can go back to during the interview. It's also helpful to provide the journalist with your own background materials. Lastly, remember to be confident and practice. You can reach out to the College of Liberal Arts or University Advancement for help. While the interview may be all about you and your research, that still means that you need to be a good listener. Make sure to use the reporter's name and ask for clarification, if you need it. Another tip is to look at the reporter, not the camera. It may be tempting, but don't look directly at the camera unless you're told to do so. Lastly, remember to remain calm. Use subtle hand gestures and body language to express yourself. Refrain from becoming defensive. We've made it past the interview, but there's still some work to do, even when the cameras turn off. After the interview, feel free to ask when the story will be released, but keep in mind that the reporter may not be able to give you a hard date. If so, ask for an update so you can know when the interview or article comes out. Now that we've covered the basics of media training, as well as the 3 components of the interview process, we can move on to our next video: the do's and don'ts of media interviews.